Hi folks, this is all the fruit. I'm in the Botanic Garden of Heidelberg, Germany. As you can see, it's May. The flowers are flowering, the meadows are already quite high. Yeah, the first cherries, strawberries and mulberries are already ripe. This berberis plant here has already the fruit already quite well developed but not ripe. But look at that, there are some ripe fruit on this berberis plant. This is Berberis bergmanniae. And if we look at this other berberis plant next to it, which looks very different, this one is an evergreen berberis, while this is a summer green. So this had leaves all winter and also has little blue fruit. This just developed leaves in spring and has larger red fruit, but it still has larger red fruit. Look, here are already the fruit from this year, the new fruit, and here the old fruit from last year. This is Berberis tuberculosa. So two exotic berberis species, and of course I'll take the opportunity to try them. Well, ripe berberis fruit which survived the winter or ripened or alternatively ripened in early spring are not too unusual in the last years in Germany, because we had very mild winters. Now I'm not sure, because look here, this one still has the stalks of the fruit are not dried out, and also a lot of the fruit are still not dried out. Actually the fruit are pretty dried out. I thought they would be nice and juicy, but they just burst like air balloons. But since the stalks are already quite fresh, I think maybe those fruit are not from last autumn, but maybe they ripened during the winter. So let's try those Berberis bergmanniae fruit. Yeah, they are all just filled with air. They just kept their form, kept their shape. They didn't shrivel up, but the juice is completely gone and dried up. Bah. Well, they taste like dried prunes, but they taste like dried prunes which have had too much heat while drying. You know, in Bulgaria we used to have those traditional drying houses for plums, basically a little stone house where you put a lot of plums in giant drawers and made the fire underneath and then dried them. And this tastes, folks, like you've overdone it with the fire. Like you didn't simply dry your plums, but you burned them. Well, of course, I don't think that those fruit have been burned. Otherwise, the plant would be burned too. I think they are just bitter. I'm just trying to describe the bitterness. Imagine you take prunes, but while you produce the prunes by drying, you overdo it with the heat, so their sugar gets so far caramelized that it becomes bitter. Yeah. Tastes like bitter prunes. I would still eat them when nothing else presents itself as a survival food while nibbling them along a trip, but they are definitely not among the most delicious berberis. Well, I mean, what do you expect after hanging on the tree for months in a ripe condition and drying up and being exposed to all environmental impacts? Well, those here you can clearly see that most of them have already rotted. So the brown ones are quite rotting, but I think the ones which are still nice and red or pink, they should not be rotted. Well, those are the ones I suspect would still be good. Let's pick a couple and then look at them. Well, some are a shiny red and some are a dull red, like almost pink. Let's squeeze them. Well, yeah, quite a similar thing. Those were a little bit shriveled up, but now we press them, they pretty much look a little bit like dried cranberries or dried peppers. So let's see what we can expect from this berberis species after being exposed to the elements for a half a year. This is nice, folks. This tastes more or less like cranberries. Yeah. After half a year out here, with the rain, with the sun, with the wind, with the frost, with the wild animals, after half a year, I mean, they must have ripened, what, sometime September, October, now is May, they still taste good. They taste like cranberries. Just the seed is a little bigger than the average cranberries. Not bad. I think I didn't do a video of those in autumn, but I mean, an additional problem with those fruits is we are already in the third year with drought stress. So they ripened last year with drought stress, and fruit, yeah, it's good if it's dry the last couple weeks before they dry, but it's not good if you have drought stress for years. Then the plants don't produce good fruit. And still, after 2 years of drought stress and after hanging here in the open for half a year, those things still taste like cranberries. I am amazed. This is a discovery, this Berberis tuberculosa. Maybe it's one of those species which actually used as a fruit shrub in Asia. Like in Central and East Asia, a lot of peoples collect huge amounts of those fruit for eating and cooking with them. So folks, those were Berberis tuberculosa, the summer green Berberis tuberculosa and the evergreen Berberis bergmanniae. Stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos, some of them surprisingly tasty, from the beautiful city of Heidelberg. And don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.